This is Hannibal here from the Hannibal TV on YouTube with my weekly review of the points I find interesting in Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter. And I gotta start this off since this is a weekly recap to talk about one of the things people were interested in the past week on this channel is my little feud with Marty Jannetty, which, by the way, my video talking about the feud actually got more hits than his last interview with me. But I have to say something funny here because someone was asking me about the interview today. If any of you were following it, the whole reason he was mad at me was because he wanted $10,000 for an interview, then he wanted $1,000, and then I offered 150 and he got all mad. And then I said, "Hey, your last interview only made $18. So 150 is a favor." And he bitched. And because he bitched about me so much and complained about me and went all over the internet lying, he talked about me so much. The other interview actually over doubled the money. It actually made, oh, it actually went up to 4.7. It went from 2,300 to 4,700. So thank you, Marty. All your complaining actually now made me over $40 on that interview. Hey, once it gets over 10,000, I'll be happy to do another one with you. But let's dig in to the real news of the day here. Thank you, Eric. WWE, let's start with Nick Khan, the WWE president, who did a very boring interview with Logan Paul this week, has done a bunch of interviews this week. And in one of them, he said WWE will soon be replacing one of the big four sports leagues in popularity. So he's talking about either NFL, NBA, MLB, or NHL. Considering that don't burn my bridges, well, it's a little late for that, isn't it? Yes, we are live, brother. But yeah, anyways, now you've distracted me. Yeah, so which one is he going? Oh, by the way, WWE, they rescinded my contract years ago due to a medical issue. Then they were going to give me another tryout in 2016 until it was mysteriously canceled again, which probably had to do with they're holding a grudge against me because of that medical issue, even though I'm cured. So it was actually the medical issue that burnt my bridge with them. So it doesn't matter what I would say at this point. They're not going to hire me anyways. They already tried to hire me and I didn't pass the medical. But I don't believe Nick Khan. I don't think WWE, you guys can tell me what you think. I don't think it's going to replace NHL, NFL, MLB, or NHL. Tell that to Canadians. Oh, WWE soon. WWE that only came to Canada like 2 or 3 times this year is going to suddenly become more popular than one of the major four sports leagues. They're running less shows than ever because they can't make money on house shows, enough money to merit doing them. But somehow they're going to replace one of the top four. I don't see it overtaking the NBA. I really don't. I do think Chris Jericho is going to sign with WWE because one of the last things he said about AEW was that AEW shows, particularly the ones in smaller venues, such as the ECW Arena, which had under 1,000 fans, he said they reminded them of Tony Condello Winnipeg wrestling shows. You don't go back to a company after saying stuff like that. Plus, one of the big pieces of news this week, which I was just about to start talking about, was Netflix has bought Warner Brothers Discovery which actually airs um, AEW. So chances are AEW, they're definitely not going to be renewed after this latest contract ends, but I would say more likely than not, AEW is probably not going to be on it's not going to be on TBS much longer. It might be moved to an app or another channel. I don't know if they're able to, I don't know if Warner Brothers Discovery is able to cancel the deal or not, or if they still have to pay them. But I don't see WWE, who is partners with Netflix, wanting AEW programming on Netflix or any other station WWE and Netflix are affiliated with. By the way, Tony Khan, who's very strange, you have to admit, even the AEW lovers, he's a strange person. For some reason, he still runs Ring of Honor. Why he runs Ring of Honor, I really don't know. It's not like he doesn't have enough things to worry about, like AEW, the Jaguars, whatever soccer team they own. But Tony Khan did a press conference today about Ring of Honor, and you want to know how oblivious he is to the issues in AEW? Let's read his quote. This is Tony Khan. I think AEW is where the best wrestle. I think we have the best roster of wrestlers in the world today, and we're putting on consistently awesome shows. This has been an awesome year for AEW. We're the challenger brand in pro wrestling, and I think we've really closed the gap in a very meaningful way in 2025 in a number of key metrics. I don't have a crystal ball, but I can tell you my passion for this isn't going anywhere. It's something I've been loving and dreaming to do for over 30 years. And now we've been doing this for 6 years in the real world. And I don't ever want it to stop with AEW. I can't imagine a better year. And if we can keep doing the things we're doing right now, having great pay per view shows, etc. End quote. But it goes on like that. Anyone that thinks Tony Khan is going to step down as Booker, just read that. He can't imagine a better year. They've had numerous shows under 1,000 fans. They are losing their TV stations, and he can't imagine a better year. They've lost almost every week to NXT, and he can't imagine a better year. Does he actually, you know what? And maybe he's delusional and he actually believes this. Maybe. But if he's not, I would like someone to like speak bluntly, right? Hey, okay, maybe this wasn't the best year. We're rebuilding. A lot of people were sitting out. We're restructuring. We're gonna figure something out and plow forward. We're sorry. Remember when Terry Funk said that in early ECW? Hey, sorry guys, we're gonna get ourselves together. Stick with us. That is more to me. That would make me want to watch it more than this delusional crap. Hey, this is awesome, awesome, awesome. This is the best year ever. Blah 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 blah. I mean, that's just there you go. Someone's goofy. I'm not saying that, but I don't know. God, Mickey Rourke's character from The Wrestler. I mean, he looks normal compared to our friend Methy Crackheady, I think someone said his new name should be. Anyways, let's get back to the news. Freddie Prinze Jr., former WWE writer and actor, who apparently has a wrestling podcast, says he has friends in ESPN and they have told him privately ESPN is not happy with WWE's premium live event deal with ESPN, as so far it has not delivered the subscriptions they are looking for to make their money back. So we knew this would happen because for Peacock, what was it? Like $4.99 to $10.99? And you had wrestling shows plus the pay-per-views plus the whole library. So now for less, now for just the pay-per-views, they want you to pay $30. And by the way, Survivor Series did not have good reviews. Even on the Wrestling Observer's poll, they only gave it something like 14% thumbs up. But yeah, so in the past where Peacock included everything and everything else was on cable, now you got to buy Netflix for Raw. You got to have cable for SmackDown, and you got to have ESPN for the pay-per-views. Am I missing anything else? So yeah, I don't see again, and they're right about to lose John Cena, who, by the way, Gunther, it's official now. Gunther is wrestling Cena in his retirement match, the exact match that his father spoke out about. And he said, I hope it's not that. I hope it's not that either. I'm sick of Gunther being shoved down everyone's throats. He's too plain for me. He's a mediocre wrestler. The Gunther Goldberg match got the NBC show canceled. But yeah, someone says this version of WWE is not good. I agree. Nails is very possible. I have his contact information. Okay, I won't. Raw in Glendale, Arizona, the Phoenix area, 5 million in the Phoenix metropolitan area. They had 9,250 in a 17,500 seat arena for Raw. That's not bad, but it wasn't too long ago they were doing 16,000 in Arizona. So popularity hasn't bottomed out, but it's dropping. Paul White, who supposedly makes 800 here, I wonder if they lose their 180 million a year from Warner Brother Discovery, if they'll finally get rid of the Big Show. The Big Show is dead weight. The Big Show is the definition of dead weight. He's done nothing in AEW. Tried commentary, sucked. Wrestled a couple times, literally wrestled a handful of times in like team matches or fast job matches. They don't use him. Here's what I'd be saying if I was Warner Brothers Discovery. Hey, we're paying you 180 million a year. Why is Jericho not on the show every week? Why hasn't MJF wrestled since September? Why isn't the Big Show on the show every week? Why has Britt Baker not wrestled in a year? That's what I'd be saying. It's like we're paying big money for this and we're not getting the A players on your show. That's one of the big issues with AEW. So why I'm bringing up the Big Show is he's in the news because, like, as if AEW needs to hire anyone else. I agree with Brett. Someone says Brett said Gunther was the shits. The Big Show is pushing to try and get Baron Corbin hired in AEW. Baron Corbin, who they tried so many gimmicks on in WWE, and they tried pushing him so many times. And the only gimmick that got over was his goofy gimmick, but it petered out. And then they finally released him. And what has he done on the indies? I'm sure he's a nice guy, but honestly, Big Show, he's done nothing since it's not like he's Cody Rhodes on the indies selling out arenas. Haven't even heard of him having an indie match. And I follow the news. I'm sure he's had some here or there, but it's not like he's making waves in GCW or anything. It's like Big Show's trying to say, oh, we should hire Baron Corbin. He flopped in WWE. We already have a bloated roster where it seems like at least half of the people are sitting at home. Let's bring in Baron Corbin. Let him collect a paycheck too. It didn't even make any sense. Apparently, Darby Allin is injured. Apparently, AEW's reach, Dave Meltzer, who's a big AEW supporter, says their reach is going to likely be cut greatly with this new deal happening with Netflix. He sees them possibly being on some type of app. MVP on his podcast thinks Omos in WWE, the WWE giant, takes too much and should do less. I mean, I agree with that, but Omos, who they just re-signed, is a lost cause. I don't know why. There's a lot of giants out there. If any of you have seen my Blood Hunter Thirst and Rage movie, I actually fight a giant in the opening scene that is a wrestler, used to play for the Washington Wizards. He told me he was once at an autograph session with Big Show. Big Show wouldn't even go near him because he's taller than the Big Show and he's taller than Omos. Hey, give him a chance. Omos, you've done what you can with him. He didn't get over. There's not a million giants, but I know other giants too. There's Giant Orion, who was also an MMA fighter. Once knocked out Dan Severn. It's like almost did what he was going to do. Give another guy a chance. Wrestling should be about turnover. All these companies, the ones that are sitting at home, how about fire them? I know this sounds mean, but give someone an opportunity that's never got a big contract. There's a lot of wrestlers out there that deserve a chance. Turnover. Let's not have these people sitting at home collecting money. Let's bring in new faces, give other people a chance to make money, see if they get over. I did a review of John Cena on Joe Rogan today, and he even said it. He said there's 250 people in the development system in WWE. He said out of that, maybe 10 will get over, and maybe one, if they're lucky, one will become a big star. But he even said in the same interview that there hasn't been a development wrestler in a while that surpassed Charlotte Flair, Roman Reigns, Becky Lynch, or Cody Rhodes. And that's true. There's serious issues with future stars, and we're about to lose Cena. Not that he's set the world on fire, but he was a life preserver this year for WWE because they've definitely lost interest this year, but him doing the retirement tour has kept some, so to speak. In TNA news, they have signed a deal with AMC. There is no money amount set. Dave Meltzer reports that in 2024, they were releasing numbers, and it was usually around a 0.01, which is about 100,000 viewers. They have not released any numbers in 2025. We do not know how many people watch TNA. Is that because they're not reaching a 0.01 rating? You would have to think if their numbers aren't being released, they're probably getting less than a 0.01 rating. But this new station is apparently going to give them a bit more exposure. Meltzer actually writes here that it's amazing about the turnaround of TNA. I don't know if you could really. I mean, certainly it's way better than the D'Amore years when Tessa Blanchard was the men's champion, then left the company high and dry, and basically killed the title, and the creative was the shits. But how can you really say it's doing well when it's pretty much just become a feeder system of WWE? It's it is like it's doing better. WWE is likely eventually going to buy it, and they have a lot of control. And I don't think they would have had this TV deal without WWE. So it's not like TNA is going to flourish on its own. And I have heard reports that part of the WWE deal with TNA is they could buy it at any time they want, or they could make an offer to buy it. So it's not like I think it's good overall, but I wish they were flourishing on their own because I did hear from an agent last year, a full year ago, last December, around the time PCO was released, who has a lot of heat with WWE from refusing to job to Nash in a well documented story, and jumping off the top rope and landing ass first in Nash's face. Then Nash had to rough him up in the dressing room. But I have a friend. He's not my friend anymore, but at that time he was my friend. He represented numerous wrestlers. Some of them are in TNA, some of them are in AEW, some of them are in Mexico. And he said at that time, TNA was not talking to any wrestlers WWE did not approve of hiring. And I do believe him on that. Someone says talent is at an all time low. Bye bye, China lover Cena. I will say this out of the Cena and Ric Flair podcast I watched this week, the Ric Flair one was so much more entertaining. John Cena is boring. He is freaking boring. Tony Khan kind of reminds Leo as Dixie Carter. I think Dixie Carter, I, TNA under Dixie Carter was better than AEW is at this point. I don't think you will ever see. I agree. They should bring Blood Hunter to AEW. I fully agree. First of all, I would love the money. Second of all, let's face the facts here. I am not being arrogant here, but I have almost 510,000 subscribers. I got 13 million plus views on Facebook last month alone. In 1 month, I got over 13 million Facebook views. But I am more known in wrestling than what a few months ago they fired Bear Bronson, who we didn't even know was under contract. Let's look at it from an announcer standpoint. I'm one of the best shoot interviewers in wrestling. They just fired Tony Chimmel. Did we even know if Tony Chimmel was under? What the hell did Tony Chimmel ever do in AEW? There's so many wrestlers that have been in AEW and have done nothing. I guarantee you one thing. I would be remembered. If I was in AEW, you would remember if I was there. Stuff would happen. Interesting stuff would happen. I mean, how many times have they used Camille? The you know who else is under contract? The Rizzler, AJ, the fat 50-year-old Costco father, who I, who I'm incomparably better at wrestling than, but it's politics. It's politics. I would suggest you guys bug if you want to see me wrestle, bug Vince Russo. I mean, I do know the JCW guys are obviously friends with me. Will they use me in their company? That remains to be seen, but I would suggest bug them if you want to see me in the ring. Sunny days in the mid 90s would be fine. Sunny days now, not so much. I agree. Cena has a pic of the China Communist Party on his wall. And again, they boil dogs alive in China and they skin them alive before they eat them because the fear gland that opens when they're being boiled alive supposedly makes them taste better. So, I mean, I don't want to turn this into a totally hating on them podcast, but as a dog lover, that really bothers me. And again, yeah, you're talking about my dog there, and I love her a lot. Hope she's doing well. AEW feels like a circus. Hey, yo, Bambino, take a look at the bad guy. Have a great weekend. Thank you for your comment.